It's the business of council for this evening. The last item on the agenda then is the mayor's report. I'm pleased to provide the mayor's report for the period June 11th through the 24th, 2013. I can advise that I have attended a number of meetings over the last 2 weeks, and I'll just highlight some of those. On June 12th, I attended the University of Winnipeg session on Northern Economic Development. I can advise that the province of Manitoba has asked the University of Winnipeg to assist them in upgrading their Northern Development Strategy, and I had the opportunity and the invitation to present on the Aboriginal Accord. I can tell you that it was extremely well received. There was a good discussion with a variety of interests from industry, government, education, regarding the need for an upgraded Northern Development Strategy, and many in the room suggested that the model that should be followed is one that was developed through the partnerships that created the Accord, as well as the Thompson Economic Diversification Working Group. I anticipate that coming out of this, and I did note that right now there are a variety of different agencies in this province drafting Northern Development Strategies, including the Manitoba Chamber of Commerce, the University of Winnipeg, the province of Manitoba. We have the TEDWIG program, and Churchill is doing an economic development strategy. There is a need to have a cohesive approach to these strategies, first, and secondly, and perhaps more importantly, there is a fundamental need that any Northern strategy needs to include Northern residents. The one other report that's being drafted is the MKO Economic Development Strategy. I think that message was well received. One of the suggestions is a follow-up meeting with all those interests at the table in more of a think tank approach. So I think that that was a positive outcome from that event. It was broadcast throughout Manitoba, Canada, and had some participation in the United States. Unfortunately, we weren't able to plug in Thompson, and I know that's being addressed to ensure that in future meetings that teleconference capability is here in our community as well. On June the 15th, I had the opportunity to attend the Marymount North Open House. It's held annually, and I appreciated the opportunity to go by, talk to some of the staff, get an idea on the programming that's taking place. It was unfortunate the weather didn't really cooperate this year. It was rainy, but it certainly didn't dampen the spirit of those that attended or the enthusiasm for the work that's being done by Marymount North, and I want to congratulate all those that are involved. On June the 17th, Thompson hosted the Association of Manitoba Municipalities Northern June District meeting, and I just want to acknowledge and thank the members of council that were able to attend. Councillor Robinson participated, Councillor Beyer was there at periods, myself, as well as Deputy Mayor Hogan had the opportunity to plug in. Am I missing anyone else? Councillor Lafreniere was also there, thank you. And City Manager Sepatelli also attended. I can advise that the City of Thompson was the only municipality to put forward resolutions. We put forward 6. All 6 were approved. There were some minor amendments, I would suggest, to, I believe, just one of the resolutions based on feedback. I thought the meeting was very good, and I absolutely have to take my hat off, if I had one, and thank our administration for the work they did in hosting the event. Angela English and Tammy Perobic did an absolute fantastic job, along with support from Thompson Unlimited and other agencies, to really present Thompson in, I think, just a shining light in terms of activities that are happening, the facility, the TRCC. And so Tammy, thank you, and please pass along to Angie as well that it was just an outstanding job. And I'll tell you, people left here, and as I drove the president to the airport, one of the comments was, it'd be great if Thompson could do this every year. I had to remind them that we're a partner with other municipalities in the north, but certainly we appreciated the opportunity to host. On June the 19th, I attended the annual Nickel Days President's Reception, and again, I was pleased to attend and offer some comments regarding Nickel Days and the importance of that event to our community, and thank President of Nickel Days, President of the United Steelworkers, as well as representatives from Vale for their efforts, as well as the efforts of the volunteers in hosting this event. I believe 43rd, is that correct, Penny? I believe it was something like that in terms of the number of years this event has been ongoing in our community. It doesn't happen without that commitment. And as Councillor Byer indicated, we did have the opportunity jointly, along with the Nickel Days Board and the United Steelworkers and with support from Valley, to announce that we are moving forward on two initiatives. One is that we've reached a memorandum of understanding on the paving, which we just passed by resolution. And I reminded people in the audience that that is a significant move for this community. Many other communities have established those types of arrangements where the major festivals contribute to capital works to enhance the facilities. We've never been there, I don't believe, and so this is a first, and I think it's really important. And I reminded people that this is $200,000 that doesn't have to be asked from the taxpayers. And more importantly, quite frankly, I don't believe the work would have been done even in 10 years that we're going to be able to do now because of the arrangement. So that's I think, the product of being innovative, being creative, and sitting down with real partners that want to contribute. So to Wendell and his board, I thank him very much and look forward to it. In addition, we noted, and President Nichapork from the United Steelworkers noted that in cooperation with Valet and Nickel Days, they will be moving and establishing a permanent site for the King Minor contest with facilities there. Not just the facilities for the competition, but also the hope to establish an area where people can get an idea and a flavor for the type of equipment that's used. So more of a permanent type setting. So again, I think that's just a tremendous accomplishment by those four organizations working together. On June the 20th, I attended the wrap-up meeting for the Thompson Economic Diversification Working Group, and I did pass along my thanks to all the stakeholders for the work that's been put into this over the last year and a half, as well as along with Lovro Pollock from Valet. I provided a letter of thanks to each of the organizations. Councillor Frenier attended that event as well, and I think it's a good opportunity to reflect back and talk about the achievements. And at the end of the day, I don't believe the achievements are necessarily in the priority areas or in the action plans. Those will be judged based on implementation and what they create in terms of results. But I think without a doubt, the most significant, tangible benefit of the process has been the enhanced relationship between all the stakeholders and a much better understanding of the challenges that face each of the stakeholders in terms of making Thompson more sustainable from their perspective as a stakeholder. So I thought that it wrapped up very well. We're cleaning up some of the loose ends. I'm very pleased to say that the reports are now, or will be soon, on thompson.ca in terms of the outcomes, and there's a variety of different materials that will be available. And I encourage the public to use the information produced, and I think this is going to be the challenge, is that at the end of the day, it just can't be a series of beautiful reports that sit on shelves with pamphlets. They're tools that can be used not just by the City of Thompson, but by all stakeholders, and the challenge is that we use them. So encourage people to do so. June the 21st was just an absolutely stunning day in Thompson. It was National Aboriginal Day, and I was very pleased to participate in the events at Centennial Park. I really want to acknowledge Grand Chief Harper from MKO, Grand Chief Sinclair from KTC, Jalida Lajamodier from Manitoba Métis Federation, Reg Mead from Northern Association Community Councils. I know those people are extremely busy individuals, and they represent a number of different communities, but they chose to be in Thompson to celebrate National Aboriginal Day, and I think that says an awful lot about the commitment of those organizations to improving relations and conditions for Aboriginal people in our community. I can tell you that we also had the opportunity through Councillor Lafreniere to share with the stakeholders and the community the 2013 report of the Aboriginal Accord. It gets bigger and better every year, and we shared the success over the last year for each organization and the upcoming objective. So very pleased, very proud, excellent turnout. from the whole community, and I look forward to continuing to make National Aboriginal Day sort of the kickoff to, I used to say 10 days of celebration, but it's actually 11 days of celebration. And I really believe, as a city and as the city of Thompson through recreation, we've got to really start packaging it as 11 days of celebration, from National Aboriginal Day through Nickel Days on to Canada Day. Of course, the 28th to 23rd was Nickel Days. I want to acknowledge the volunteers, not just the Nickel Days board, but all those community organizations that went out, whether they were serving hot dogs or taking tickets at the entrance gate, that got involved. And tremendous event. The weather cooperated as much as weather can on Nickel Days. We did get a little bit of rain at the end, but it worked well. And the setup was much better this year. And again, that's from working together as partnership. And it will only improve with some of the work that we're going to do, and as we get used to the facility. I can say I also want to acknowledge the United Steelworkers in the King Minor contest. It was great to see it front and center as people came into the facility, and I believe the King Minor, Brian Waiku, is that correct? Councillor Robinson, who was a judge actually at the event, and so it was a great event. Again, thank you to Wendell and all his crew for making it happen, and it's a big part of celebration here in Thompson. Upcoming, we have Canada Day. Encourage people. It's going to be a full day of events at the Thompson Regional Community Center. Fireworks will follow at the end, and let me say, and I'm going to be the first to say, as part of the 11 days of celebration, we should have fireworks at the kickoff and fireworks at the end, because I did hear a lot of comments that people love fireworks. So with that, encourage people to get out. The weather's been phenomenal, and get out. But again, reminder, safety first, safe operations. You'll see that our crews are out on the streets. We began our capital work. The signs are up on Thompson Drive South. The crews will be on the street, I believe, on Tuesday following the long weekend, so take care. I can advise we're just wrapping up the first sweep of the city in terms of street cleaning, and we'll be beginning our second stage. And again, just a reminder, was noted earlier, please, if you have any issues for bylaw enforcement, 677-7916. That is my report. I know I missed a number of events during some of my travel, so I'll open it up to any other members of council. Deputy Mayor Hogan.
On June 20th, I had the honor of bringing greetings on behalf of the Mayor and Council to Deerwood School's 50th anniversary. And I have to say that I was particularly honored to go and do this because I am a Deerwood Dragon alumni, K-8. So it was really exciting to be able to go and share with them. During the celebration, we had past teachers, Marty Poulin and Lee Reek, back that were reading letters from past teachers, a lot of whom taught myself, just giving kudos to Deerwood School and all of the programming and events that have gone on throughout the years. We honored our honorary guest and past teacher, Doreen Lindquist, and we had presentations from both the school choir and the boys' Aboriginal drum group. And so I just wanted to say it was a fantastic event, and it was a true testament to just how unique and special Thompson is with our neighborhood schools and how they contribute to the sense of community in the city, and also learning what community is and how to contribute to students and youth. Another event, Mayor Johnson missed it in his mayor report, but that's okay. He had a pretty busy past 2 weeks. On the 22nd, I participated in the Nickel Days Parade along with Councillor Lafreniere and Councillor Beyer, picking up garbage, recycling, and handing out candy, and pretty much running to keep up with the parade. I thought that it was going to be a nice leisurely pace, but us at the end picking up garbage and passing out candy, we had to make sure that we were keeping up with the rest of the group. So it was a good time, and it was good to see the community out for the parade.
Just want to know, thanks to the Lions Club, Nick Virgilio, for spearheading that, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Councillor Beyer.
In regards to the Nickel Days Parade, I think we should note that Councillor Hogan probably put on twice as much distance as anybody else did, because she was running back and forth across the street and forward and back as well. I attended safely. Two things. in quite at opposite ends of the spectrum. One was the senior symposium that was held at the Legion on June 13th. It's the first of its kind in Thompson. I'm not sure about the north, but certainly in Thompson. And the range of topics and the quality of speakers there was really excellent. And they cover everything from Alzheimer's to finances and anything you can imagine in between. Very informative. I wasn't able to stay for the whole event, but I caught bits and pieces. It was nice to visit with some of the seniors that were there. And it's a reminder, when you look at some of those faces, those are the faces that got many of our events and amenities in Thompson started, either through their volunteer efforts or their business or the jobs that they held down. So it's really nice to see people who literally built this community who are still active and attending. So that was nice. And also congratulations to the organizers. I believe the NHRA was the driving force behind that. The second thing at the opposite end of the spectrum was Youth Build Grad. And this is this meant a lot to me. Last year when I was still employed, before I retired, just in case somebody thought something different, I had a Youth Build student with me on a work practicum. And, just a bright young lady, worked very, very hard. And, some people just don't quite find the school system set up for success for them. And yet these youth that decide to go back and get their education through Youth Build, they're making a pretty major decision to do something positive with their life. In some cases, they have challenges to get the job done, but they do it. So they attend the classes, they get educated, they might decide to go back to high school or onto a trade school, or maybe through one of their work placements they have found a job or a summer job. But to see these youth, it was just so exciting. And the other nice thing that they do at the Youth Build Awards, besides their graduation certificates, each student is given another award for some kind of a personal achievement. And it's usually based, or by the looks of things, it's usually based on something that makes them stand out or that they had to overcome to be successful in school. One of the students had to get his sibling to school every day on time at another school before he could come, and then pick her up and get her home safely. And when you're talking not being a student with a vehicle in all kinds of weather, having to go back and forth between two schools, and he did it day after day after day. So I just think that speaks very well of the integrity of the students that were in that. So that was really nice to bring greetings to that. And I'm sorry if I'm a little bit long-winded, but I just got excited over that one.
Thank you.
So.
Councilor Ross?
Thank you, Mayor Johnson. On June 21st, I participated an hour of my time as a city official on a plank. I found it very refreshing. It was a good fundraiser. We also had our mayor on the plank before me, and I don't know if he found it as refreshing.
It was.
But, it was a good fundraiser. We raised $700 that night. Also on a note, I'd like to remind the public that in July we're only going to have one meeting on the 15th, and in August we'll have only one meeting on the 12th.
Correct, thank you. Any further items? Just before we leave, and 11 days of celebration, the other big celebration was Paul's birthday on Sunday, so happy birthday, Paul. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.